Good evening from London, wrestling fans. I'm your host, Ben Allison, and you are listening to Wrestling Republic's daily broadcast, your one-stop shop for professional wrestling insight, news, and reviews on a daily basis. It's Saturday, WWE Fastlane is tonight, and last night we had a very interesting episode of SmackDown. We've got a lot to talk about on the show today. We're going to break it all down and preview at the end of the show tonight's episode of AEW Collision. But joining me to discuss all of this and more, firstly, the co-host of the show, Clark Taylor. How are things, Clark?
Oh, it's one of my favorite times of the year. We got college football. We've got 2 wrestling shows tonight. What more could I ask for? I'm just stoked to be here, stoked to get into it. We've got an awesome card for Fastlane. Collision will be interesting. I can't wait to get into both. Let's get started.
Absolutely. And also joining us, we have the head of opinions here at Wrestling Republic, Anthony Ricciardi. How are you, Anthony?
Doing all right. I got Fastlane tonight. We're at October before then, and probably during. So it should be a fun night for me, entertainment-wise.
Absolutely, it's going to be a good one. And also joining us, today's Impact substitute here on late notice, Dryzzy. How are you, Dryzzy?
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. It is the guy you should believe it. I am here in the daytime. No wrestling after dark right now. It is me in the daily, which has been a long time since I've been on one of these. Actually, I was on last week. Never mind. Forget everything I just said. Forget everything I just said.
Hey, last week's long ago.
It's been a long week. It counts.
Yeah, that's true. It has been a long week, but it's great to have you back, Dryzzy. It's going to be a very fun show. And let's kick it off by talking about LA Knight. Yeah. Do you want to get your one yeah out of the way now, Clark?
Yeah.
Oh, see, and now he's going to do it in the middle of my take and ruin a clip or something. Yeah. But let's get right into it. Last night on SmackDown, LA Knight opened the show. Obviously, yeah, we've spoken about this before with LA Knight. When you open a show, that means WWE have some faith in you. I think we all know that now, that WWE are pushing LA Knight to the moon.
Yeah.
Not a Cameron Grimes reference, but we'll get to him later on. Yeah. But anyway, throughout the night, the Judgment Day and the Bloodline, well, they're in cahoots now, it's seemingly. Rhea Ripley and the Judgment Day took over the Bloodline's locker room. Rhea Ripley then had a meeting with Paul Heyman. Nobody really knew what it was about until later on in the night when LA Knight did face Jimmy Uso in the ring, and it ended in a disqualification, Solo Sikoa getting involved. And at that point, John Cena made the save before the Judgment Day came down, and they were once again very outnumbered until Mr. Cody Rhodes came down, accompanied by Jey Uso, who confronted the Bloodline for the first time since he moved to Raw. Now, I'm not going to complain too much about it because I love seeing, Jey involved in the Bloodline and feuding with them or whatever, but wasn't the reason he moved to Raw to get away from the family drama? And now he's kind of reinserting himself into it a little bit? A bit of a weird one, but again, maybe he just, after a few weeks away, he's like, no, what they're doing is just annoying me so badly. It's not fair on John Cena. I don't know. Maybe that's the only logic there. This stinks of War Games to me. I mean, obviously, as of right now, Survivor Series isn't being promoted at Survivor Series War Games. But, I mean, maybe that's the plan for Crown Jewel. Maybe they are doing it at Survivor Series. I don't know. But it just stinks of War Games for sure. Because you've got LA Knight, John Cena, not Kevin Owens, Jey Uso, Cody Rhodes. And, I mean, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, either one you could insert there. Maybe John's gone by that point, so maybe you put Kevin and Sami in. And then you got the Bloodline and the Judgment Day in 2. I mean, maybe even a 6v6, but I doubt they want to go away from the 5v5 format, but whatever, right? This match, LA Knight, Jimmy Uso, it was fine. It was a fine main event match, whatever. But obviously, the entire point of it was to just advance this story to tonight, where LA Knight will team with Cena to take on Jimmy Uso and Solo Sikoa. And yeah, I said yesterday, I thought LA Knight and John Cena will win tonight. And I second that opinion. Again, now it's blatant. But Clark, yaying on over there. What do you think heading into this one?
No, that time you said yeah. I heard it. I caught you. Said yeah. Yeah. No, this is all about LA Knight for me. I mean, the Jey Uso and Cody thing, it is what it is. I guess Cody's going to be on every show this weekend. The draft's dead. I love to squeeze that one in. I'm sorry. Just while we're talking about Cody. Jay appearing, I love your sentiment about he left for Raw to avoid the family drama. And then he's like, hey, actually, I didn't get enough. So I'm going to go to SmackDown too. I don't know. It is what it is. It's all about LA Knight in this one to me. And I really, really, really hope, they do right by LA Knight tomorrow night and have him go over, whether it be on Jimmy or Solo in this tag match, make it about LA Knight, strike while the iron's hot, give him a shot until it fizzles out or it doesn't. But let's at least find out. Don't pull the rug out from under him. The DQ, I didn't mind. The DQ finish last night, I think that made sense with Cena running in and everything. It is what it is. Tomorrow night, or tonight. Sorry, not tomorrow night. Get it right. Get it right. Get it right. LA Knight, for sure.
Tonight, LA Knight, get it right.
Get it right.
No, I mean, you made some great points there. I mean, maybe Jey Uso is just one of those guys, right? Or one of those people, right, who, loves those, I don't know, reality TV shows, and they're saying, no, it's so rubbish, I'm stopping. Well, okay, this is a perfect example, right? Somebody's watching it with their significant other loves it, they say they hate watching it. For example, Keep It Up with the Kardashians, right? Then as soon as their significant other stops watching it, they're hooked, and they're like, no, I need to see it now. That's the situation Jey Uso's in.
Ben, are you talking about me?
Drama.
Ben, are you talking about me?
Yeah, that happened to me with Jersey Shore.
You are talking about me.
That's a real life example. Didn't Jimmy actually appear on a reality show though, as opposed to Jay? That's the irony.
Well, yeah, I mean, Jimmy was on Total Divas.
He's on Total Divas.
I mean, that was my guilty pleasure
pretty heavily.
Growing up.
Great show. I'm not even guilty about that one.
Me and all my
outstanding show. Watched every episode with my mom during the pandemic.
When we were like 14, 15, we just all go home each day and watch Total Divas.
Outstanding show. Yeah, absolutely.
Total
what?
Divas.
Anyway, let's get back from instead of Total Divas, get back to the Total Bloodline drama or whatever this is. Anthony, what were your thoughts on this segment, and where do you think this is going? Do you think we might see War Games?
My first thought was the same thing like Clark said. Why do you have a brand split if people can come and go as they please? I get why Damian Priest and Finn can get there because technically they're the tag champs, the undisputed tag champs. But why is everyone else just apparently able to go wherever they want? I get the NXT thing because it's like Switzerland, everyone can go there. It's a neutral territory, but I don't get the Raw and SmackDown switching back and forth. I thought it was a great visual to close the show. Judgment Day, Bloodline, united against, babyface team. It makes sense if that's leading to War Games. War Games is 6 weeks out. Like it doesn't really make much sense why you're doing that now. That you're giving that visual. The focus should be LA Knight. I think they should absolutely get behind him. I've been saying that. He's very much, in a lot of ways, like a modern day DDP, where he's an older talent, but the crowd wants him. The crowd wants him. People's champ, whatever you want to call it. They want him to be pushed. And they've teased it a few times, but the company has not pulled the trigger on it. Now's the time to push this guy. He's not going to get the title off of Roman. I don't believe that. But you could get him with the U.S. title. Ultimately, you got to get the belt off of Ray with a heel, and then have LA Knight take it. whether it's Escobar turns on Ray, maybe Carlito, if he comes in, maybe he takes it off Ray. Somebody's got to take it off of Ray for LA Knight to really get in a feud with somebody to get that U.S. title. That's the focus. Cena giving him the rub in the tag match tonight certainly would help, but this is about LA Knight more so than anything else right now.
Yeah, no, I mean, that is a great point. Obviously, LA Knight is the focus of this tag match. I mean, to be honest with you, there are a few different focuses in this tag match. One, the big one is LA Knight. There's also Jimmy Uso, who they're trying to establish, as an individual, not just, in a tag team with Jay. I mean, I was saying this on the show yesterday. John Cena's kind of in a position here where he's trying to put each of all the other three in the match over. So he's in a tough situation, especially with he's not been in the ring since Mania in terms of singles action. But no, I do agree with you, and I mean the NXT of Switzerland line that is one of the best one-liners.
Well, it's it's the neutral territory. I can understand that because it's not brand specific. I mean, technically it is, but it's not at the same time. Nobody's getting drafted to NXT when they do the drafts.
They didn't.
I know they did
it like a couple of years ago.
They did, but they didn't do it this time.
No.
Yeah, this last time, that was like your draft pool of where you can take from.
Hey, listen, NXT this week, it's not Switzerland. It's going to be the United Nations for WWE because everyone's going to be on the thing.
Yeah.
I expect it to be open with glass breaking and Austin coming out and probably closing the show with The Rock at this point. That seems to be the direction they're going with this.
Triple H is maybe making an appearance in gear.
It'll be DX with the tank.
Yeah.
I love it, though. They've come onto your night. Be like, wait a second.
Absolutely.
Hang on a second. You don't do that. We're bringing out the big boys and pushing you off it. But, I mean, I don't hate it at all. But, Dryzzy, did you hate this segment or did you enjoy it? And what are your thoughts leading into, I mean, do you think it maybe is War Games?
It's definitely leading up to War Games. The issue is, and I watched the match, so I agree with everything Anthony said. I went back and watched the Brawl again. Jey Uso did not touch any member of the Bloodline. He distinctly went at all Judgment Day people. And if we're gonna be technical, the only people who are really crossing brands right now are Jey Uso, because I don't know if it's been established yet, but Cody's going to SmackDown. I don't know if it's a secret I'm letting out of the bag, but Cody is the guy that he keeps trying to tell you he got traded for Jay, but every time he says something, in fact, every time he says Jey Uso's name, he gets interrupted. Like I've studied this. I am a Jey Usoologist now because of it. If you don't believe me, just go back and watch. Every time Cody says Jey Uso's name, he's interrupted. It's nice seeing the two factions of the Judgment Day and the Bloodline show some type of common unity, but at the end of the day, the segment was a little bit. It didn't make sense to me because the Judgment Day were 6 people deep. The Judgment Day and Bloodline alliance was 6 people deep, and they lost 4 people at one time. There was with no weapons or anything. It made no sense to me. But that's the logic part of me. I'm trying to make sense of, but there's just some things you just can't make sense of, and that's one of them. It ultimately foreshadowed what you guys did say, that the focal point of this is Jimmy being a solo person and LA Knight's ascent to the top. We all know that LA Knight and Cena are winning, but the bigger story here is, how's Roman going to react to everything that Jay has done? He hasn't shown up for a reason. It's because, okay, Jay thinks he's the tribal chief. He wants to act like me. Let's see if he can give me results. Or maybe he can see if he can give those results that Jay used to give me all the time. And if Jimmy doesn't pull this off, it's not going to be good for him.
No, it's true. I mean, Jimmy could well be, his position in the Bloodline could well be at risk. I mean, of course, they've announced that Roman Reigns is back next Friday. He's going to be showing up on SmackDown. I'm sure we're going to speculate about this later on in the week. But, I mean, he doesn't usually come back to be happy, just like Kobe said yesterday. But now let's go on to talk about Clark's favorite thing, and that is the SmackDown Women's Division. Because Charlotte Flair and Asuka teamed to take on Io Sky and Bayley. A fun match, nothing overly special, but in the end, Charlotte Flair pinned Bayley. Bayley took yet another loss. We posted Clark's take from yesterday to the Instagram page. You know, him saying that this triple threat match doesn't feel as important. It doesn't feel like it's a women's championship match. And to be fair, I understand that point of view. I do. I was having a think in a bit more detail about it today. And in fairness, this is a story they've been telling, right? I understand the frustration completely about, the position that Bayley is in. But I think this triple threat match, I think they have built it up well. I think there's, good story in place. Not like a WrestleMania story by any means, but they've told a story more than other matches actually think on the card. So I think maybe we were a bit too harsh on it yesterday. But yeah, Bayley's taken another loss here. She does feel more, unimportant. She feels like the least important person in Damage Control. I know that's what you're going to say, Clark, and I do agree with that. But listen, I think they have a plan in place. And I think they're starting to build it brick by brick. And hopefully she gets some revenge on Charlotte Flair in the next 6 months as well. But Clark, give me your take on this one. And let's see how much you complain about it.
I'm going to start by saying that Bayley is the most important person in Damage Control. And that while I understand that there is a story, and I do understand that there has been a story told, it's just not a great one. This is a Ritz cracker. And if you're really hungry and you need something salty, that's delightful. But without a charcuterie board or some cheese or some peanut butter and jam, a Ritz cracker is just a plain cracker, and that's no good. This is a mid-card feud with 4 main event talents. What are we really talking about? It's ridiculous. Even though you have the title on the line, I will push back even further. I stand by what I said. The story is fine. You have so much talent in this ring, and this is how we treat Bayley? Why
is it a mid-card segment, though? What do you mean by that?
This is a mid-card segment, and a mid-card... Is there any threat of this being the main event?
No.
Or the opener?
But when was the last...
Or the opener? Where are they going to place it on the card?
I think it might... I doubt it'll open, actually.
Where are they going to place it on the card?
It will be in the mid-card,
middle,
but you can
right?
say that about, any... let's be honest, you can say that about
there are
90%
great mid-card feuds.
of women's wrestling matches in WWE and AEW.
4 of the best talents on the roster in the women's division. It shouldn't be logically a mid-card feud. That's illogical. This should be number 1, Asuka and Io Sky. We've talked about this before. That their history and the amount of importance to Japan and the Japanese audience has never been told.
That's true.
It's never been told, and there's no reason it hasn't. Bayley was must-see TV for a year and a half with the Thunderdome era, and then gets hurt basically for no reason. Training, her friend leaves, and she's leading a group that she's really not booked as the leader of, and taking losses in matches like this.
But do you think she maybe wants to do that herself, though?
It makes no sense to me. No. Bayley's too good. It's Bayley Doe straps. Bayley's must
she seems
watch.
happy.
Bayley's
I'll tell you
one
that.
of the best talents. Will you text her?
No, but you can.
What are you talking about? She
How
seems
many
happy.
times
Did she seem happy taking the clean 1, 2, 3 in the match last night?
Well, that's her playing her
She's a
character
top-tier
outside.
talent.
She's smiling
I get that.
constantly. She's
There are
happy.
people that have to put people over.
She's
but I'm just
creating
telling
Io
you,
Sky. She's creating Io Sky, and she's happy to do it.
There is no doubt she's not been pushed the same way she was pre-injury and pre-Mercedes Moné leaving, and I will leave it at that. 100%.
So
There's no way, because she's not taking the loss in this match. Otherwise,
just to confirm,
she's not the one that isn't challenging for the title all the way through the Damage Control storyline. It's Bayley, not Io Sky, if not for the other outside stuff.
So I just want to confirm this for a second, right? You think that the reason that Bayley's in the position she's being in now, where she's not getting title opportunities and she's taking these losses to the likes of Charlotte Flair, is because of Mercedes Moné?
I think that's a factor. It's speculation for sure. I'll admit that. I'm speculating when I say that, but I can't understand how Bayley, who carried the SmackDown women's division on her back for the length of the Thunderdome era, put on one of the best Hell in a Cell matches I've ever seen against Sasha Banks, is being put in this spot week in and week out in a storyline where we have Asuka, who's at this point basically underrated because she just goes out and wrestles incredible matches, and we do nothing to push Asuka as a part of this feud.
I mean, she was just champion.
Yes, she was champion, but she got pushed as what? I mean, it's not landing for me right now on with this much talent, which is what's so bothersome. I need more reasons, and I need more why, and I need more intensity, and I need to feel like the title matters more. And it doesn't feel like it matters as much as it did when Bayley was carrying the tag team titles and the belt before, and she's the one taking the loss in the middle of the ring clean in this match. I don't get it. And she's also not involved in the triple threat title match. If she takes this loss and she goes and wins a fatal 4-way tonight, I might have no issue, to be honest. Shake things up, but it's definitely time to shake things up.
I mean, I agree with you that the clock's ticking. They need to do something like ASAP about it, right? But I do think that I think that I don't think there's any Mercedes Moné punishment in place whatsoever. But let's move on. Let's move on to Rey Mysterio versus Bobby Lashley. This was a fun match, as you would expect when you see Rey Mysterio and Bobby Lashley in the ring together. Of course, in the end, Bobby Lashley got the victory because Rey Mysterio got involved, got distracted by the antics on the outside with the Street Profits taking out the LWO. Lashley with a spear getting the victory. Fantastic spear. Great stuff. And it looks like Lashley is going to be getting a championship opportunity very, very soon. But Rey Mysterio will be teaming tonight with Santos Escobar and a surprise appearance. We won't speculate on that too much because, let's leave that as a surprise. But he'll be facing, obviously, Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits. Anthony, what did you think about this match? And what do you think about this, this current storyline, which is ongoing, and Rey Mysterio, the new United States champion, already taking a singles loss?
I looked at this match as really just a build match to the pay-per-view and nothing more than that. I think Lashley would be a smart choice to take the belt off of Rey in order to have a heel. Like I said earlier with LA Knight, if he's going to go for a title, the US makes the most sense because he's not touching Roman at this point. If he does face Roman, he's going to lose. So I understood why they did this. To me, Escobar turning heel was a possibility. I felt whether or not that's still the case, I don't know. I think they're probably leaning more towards Lashley. I get why they took out the other members of the LWO because, quite frankly, if you want a mystery, if you want another man in that group, go with a bigger name. I personally have a feeling I think I know who it is, and that's not based on the dirt sheets. Personally, I think it's a guy that's Caribbean cool. I'm going to be perfectly honest. That's who I think it is. So I think that's the direction it's going to go. I think, ideally, the belt's not going to stay on Rey for long. I think Rey's a transitional champion. He doesn't need it. He's already a Hall of Famer. Like, he doesn't need the belt. So get it off of him. Get it on somebody that you could build something with. Like, you're not going to get the Gunther with the IC title, but make the US title mean something again. Make it mean just as much or close to the IC title on Raw. That's my opinion.
Yeah, no, I mean, that is true. We do want to see, a lengthy, wrong camera angle there, but like we do want to see, a long champ. Obviously, Austin Theory just came off a long reign, but that reign, Let's be real about it. I don't know
If
how
I've
much prestige
It
it added.
wasn't.
No, I mean honestly, they've tried everything with Theory. I've said this before. I think that's kind of a dead end at this point. So
I think they've
it's-
run out of theories.
unless you take him off and repackage him, I don't know what you do with them because quite frankly, no one cares.
Yeah.
I want to give him the Riddler from Batman. Give him what's
I
your
am
theory
aware.
gimmick?
If he was Riddler, I would be down. I'm in.
Now is it
What's your
Riddler like with the full suit? Like
Yeah, the
you know,
question marks.
Question
yeah,
mark.
the
Yeah.
Question
Hold on.
marks.
No,
All
you
of that.
have to go all out.
Riddle me
Oh,
this.
God, pumped up on that. Like, yes, all the question marks, all of it.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm okay with that. Like
If you went penguin top hat, I wouldn't mind.
I feel like he needs to have like a nervous breakdown. Then he does that full Riddler thing, like the full like he's just had a complete break, almost like Tony Storm with the
Yeah.
her break from reality. Like if you did that with Theory, he might have that in him. But and if he's goofy enough, it might make him a face because he's just
Goofy?
so crazy.
One thing that history has shown, none of Theory's past characters have hit except for Goofy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The way
John-
version.
The
Yeah.
way, yes.
And even baby oil in the face. At least he was in the main event scene.
I
Bobby
mean,
Lashley.
I feel like people are now like looking back on that too positively. Like everybody said, "Oh, that was that selfie gimmick was good" or whatever in hindsight.
Better than
And
this.
I'm like, I still don't like it even now watching back. I think people are just forgetting.
So,
But
Ben, are you
anyway,
saying I was right the whole time? That he's not that good? He's a
There's
generic
an
wrestler.
awful silence there.
I've never disagreed with you. But anyway, let's
I know,
continue
I'm
talking about Theory, and let's talk about Theory versus somebody who I do think has a lot of talent. And okay, that would sound a bit mean to Theory. I think he's got talent. I think they just need to repackage him. But anyway, Theory versus Dragon Lee last night. Dragon Lee, obviously, he's just now seemingly on SmackDown each week. He's brand split really doesn't matter to him. But this was a very fun match again. Listen, Dragon Lee's got a lot of talent. I think WWE can see that. I think that's why he's on so many shows right now. And he got the win over the former US champion, Austin Theory here. Wow. Oh, wow. Yeah, they're planning a push for Dragon Lee, but it wasn't completely clean because obviously Grayson Waller was trying to help out Austin Theory, and Cameron Grimes came in and sent Grayson Waller to the moon. And yeah, in the end, Dragon Lee got the win with that assist. Cameron Grimes evening the odds. But Dryzzy, what did you think about this? What do you think about Dragon Lee? And could Cameron Grimes finally be getting that push?
All right, first thing first. The over arc of having this match, I absolutely hate it. Yes, I wanted Dragon Lee to have a match, but not against Austin Theory. All things seem to go to hell when Austin Theory is involved, character wise. Watching this match makes me forget how much I dislike the character of Austin Theory, but he's really good in the ring. He's almost the opposite of those bland characters that don't have any type of personality but are really good wrestlers. He has a bad character but is really good in the ring. If we could ever get the character aspect flushed out, Theory will have it made. He could probably be in a main event then. And I actually like the pairing of him and Grayson Waller. It adds a little bit. He doesn't have to talk as much. And Grayson Waller is a good heat magnet without having to wrestle. I did not want Dragon Lee in this match with Theory because Dragon Lee has to win. And if you're trying to build Theory, I don't think this is a necessary loss that you give him. We could have gotten anybody else to have this match with him. Maybe split this into 2 matches here because this was the resident really good match on SmackDown for the night. Dragon Lee, a toned down Dragon Lee too. If you've ever seen a Dragon Lee match, he maybe did like maybe 1 or 2 flips. He doesn't do a lot of flips. He's more technical as a luchador, but he was really toned down than the matches I've seen of his. But it still was good. I don't know what we're doing with Cameron Grimes because it's like he does this this magic trick. Like 1 minute he's here, 1 minute he's not. He's on TV, and he's not like he's losing matches. He's winning, and then he disappears into the abyss, not to be seen for months. And then he pops back up, has another match, gets a win, and disappears again. I'm hoping this is gonna lead to a consistency with having Cameron Grimes on TV. I'm not gonna hold my breath on it, but it is what it is. So
Yeah. No, I mean, I really hope you're right. I love Cameron Grimes. Obviously, last week I went on this big rant on this exact show last week, saying that, we need to push Cameron Grimes. He's got all the talent in the world, but it has been stop-start for him, Dryzzy. You're completely right there. Hopefully, this is the time, but they've kind of got our hopes up so much. Who knows? Who knows at this point? But now let's move on. Let's move on to the other company. Let's talk about AEW Collision, because tonight is AEW Collision. It's going head to head with WWE Fastlane. It's actually an hour earlier than usual, if I am correct. I think they're trying. Yes, it's an hour earlier than usual. I think they're trying to, get the first hour to, pump that up viewership wise, because I think they know once Fastlane starts, they're not going to have many viewers. And I'll get onto ratings in just a second, right? But tonight's card is Toni Storm versus Kiera Hogan. Toni Storm seems to be on, absolutely every show right now for AEW Wrestling. And while I don't have an issue with it, they have a big women's division too, and Toni Storm is doing phenomenal work right now. But come on, let's showcase, not just Toni Storm here. They've also got Bryan Danielson versus Carl Fletcher. I think that's going to be a very fun match. Adam Copeland will be there. He'll be making his Collision debut to talk, but to respond to Christian Cage. And then we have the ROH World Championship on the line as Eddie Kingston defends against Commander. And then the AEW World Tag Team Championships will be on the line as FTR take on Ricky Starks and Big Bill in a match which I think might be a low-key banger. But it's a very good card. It really, really is. But I don't know if anything screams to me, this is must watch, I mean, obviously, as a hardcore wrestling fan, I'm like, Danielson, Fletcher, sign me up. I'll watch that all day. Obviously, Adam Copeland appearing as well. That'll be something which people want to see. But excluding that, I just don't think the show, Collision, feels as important as Dynamite, and the ratings are starting to reflect that, right? Because the debut episode had 816,000 viewers last week, which was against NXT No Mercy, but isn't that the developmental brand? But it was against that, that pay-per-view. It only got 320,000 viewers. That's nearly 500k down from your debut, which was only 3 months ago. It's not like it's been years and ratings have changed. This blatantly shows that people have lost interest in the show. And that's sad because it does have some great wrestling on it. More often than not, it's a great show. The quality, I don't think, is the issue. Is it maybe that there is too much wrestling? I hate to say I told you so, but I did say I didn't think there was room for another 2-hour weekly show on the wrestling calendar if you did want, big viewerships. But we don't know the TV deal, for this. We know that Tony Khan's previously said that with the original TV deal with TNT, they wanted 500k viewers for Dynamite. And then with their new TV deal after that, obviously it rose, or whatever. And I don't think Dynamite, I say this every week when people say, oh, the Dynamite crowd's small, whatever. The way they make the money is TV deal, and Dynamite's rating is steady, it's all good. But Collision's rating, that is where I actually worry. And I'm continuing worrying tonight. Hopefully, it'll be a good show. In fact, I'm certain it will be a good show. But does it feel important enough? Do they give you enough reason to care? Because you can't... Listen, here's the thing. I feel like, at times, AEW think doing a championship match is enough to draw people in. Putting the Ring of Honor World Championship on the line in a random match is enough to, drag people in. It's not. It's not. You've got to give a story. You've got to give some reason to care. It's got to be some development. Sure, right? And I think that's what Collision lacks. And I think maybe... I don't know. It's a tough question. It's a tough problem to solve. But Dryzzy, I'm going to send it to you first. How are you feeling ahead of tonight's AEW Collision? And do you think do you care enough about Collision at this point? Do you think that maybe some changes need to be made?
I can't say that I don't care too much about Collision. It's hit and miss. It's hit or miss for me because sometimes it has things that I'm actually interested in. Like I am very interested in the Tony Storm Kiara Hogan match. Big fans of both of them. And Tony Storm's been doing incredible work lately. She's making it so I got to see what she's about to do next. But then you get some matches that are just like, I don't care too much. Um, I can't. It's a. I really think that it's the day of the week that it happens on. And I'll give it the same argument for Rampage too, because I actually watched Rampage last night. Rampage was actually a really good show, but who's up at 11 o'clock watching wrestling and watching that? If on a Friday night you're either getting ready to go out or you're already out, and I think it's kind of the same thing on Saturdays, and especially at this time of the year when you have MLB playoffs, you have college football going on. It's kind of hard when you want to watch a football game and wrestling's on at the same time. You could probably come back and see what's happening on that later. But that football game, once it's off, you're just getting highlights. I really think that if Collision was to come on a Thursday or something like that, it would probably do a whole lot better. But I don't think the product is bad in any way. It's just, and honestly, the whole take about it being hit or miss for me could be for anybody because everybody's not gonna gravitate to every little thing that there is. It's just change the day of the week. At the end of the
Yeah.
day, just change the day of the week. That's probably the bigger issue with them.
Yeah, no, I mean, here's the thing with it though, right? When it started, a lot of people said that they were like, Saturday night is, an awful time slot. Tony Khan was like, no, it's a fantastic time slot. Obviously, he's gonna say that it's his own show. Like,
But
anyone would say that.
at that time when they said that, there was no football
Yeah, but when you do it, the football's going to be on for what, 5 months, the American football season? You know that when you choose the time slot. It's like I don't like this entire excuse, and I say it for everything of it's going to be competing against sports now for the next 5 months or whatever. It's like they chose the day. Like it's not like they, them and TNT chose the day.
But Raw will see a dip on Monday due to Major League Baseball's playoffs.
But it's not seeing the dip by the same percentage.
Yes, it is.
Nowhere near the same percentage. It's not.
It has
it's down 60%.
Every time Monday Night Football comes on, Raw sees a giant dip. It has
Collision's down 65%. Raw's down 5% since the football season started. There's a difference there.
In its infancy
That's
versus a show that's
true.
been running for 30 years, and we've seen Raw dip every single year. The first week of Monday Night Football, all 17 weeks in a row. We've seen them do
65%.
You want to go check the numbers in the 90s? You sure?
Everything's changed since the 90s.
I'm just saying.
I don't think it's 65%. I don't think it's 65%.
Dip? Is that
I really don't. I'd be
shocked
shocked if they've ever had a 65% dip.
And I'd also argue that 65% for Monday Night Raw is way different than 65% for Collision.
It's still 500,000.
I mean, you're looking at and I gotta let Anthony. You gotta go.
Yeah, absolutely.
I got a broad point here.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, and I said this when Collision was first announced. Saturday at 8 o'clock is a horrible time slot for them. I don't know whether that was Tony's choice. I don't know if that was Turner's choice. Going, hey, this is the slot we're giving you. Just make it work. I don't know, but like Saturday nights is horrible. People are going out. People are going to the movies. If they are home, they're watching movies. They're watching football. They're watching things. It's not even just Fastlane tonight. It's the baseball playoffs. Literally, during that time, we'll be in the middle of the Phillies Braves game. I will be watching that. To me, I have way more interest in that. Philadelphia is a huge market for wrestling. It's why WrestleMania 40 is coming here. It's a major market. So if a huge portion of that sports fan market is not watching your show, I expect the ratings for Collision tonight to be probably one of the worst that they've ever had. Honestly, I think between Fastlane, the playoffs, and other things, I think it's going to be really bad tonight. But you have to know that going in. You have to. Like, how would you not know that this wasn't going to be a good move? And AEW has this problem where they have programs. The only one that feels important is Dynamite. Rampage doesn't. Collision did a little bit when Punk was there because you're like, okay, what are they going to do? The show felt different. I don't know if it feels different enough for if to watch over other programming. Like if there's nothing else on, I watch it every week, but a lot of times I'm just DVRing it like I am tonight, and I'll watch it tomorrow or when I get around to it. It's not like I'm going to go, okay, nah, gotta watch this. I'll just catch the highlights of the game. Oh no, I'll watch Fastlane. No, like it doesn't feel important enough. And that's the problem. AEW has time, but no one cares. And they have a roster that's so jam packed, they don't know what to do with it. And that's part of the problem, too. You have two companies, Ring of Honor and AEW, even though you have no clue what you're doing with Ring of Honor. You have a separate thing, but there's no distinct roster. There's so many problems, and I think they're trying to expand so much in a small amount of time, but have no idea how to get there. And when they are doing stuff, it's negatively affecting the company. Because if you look at it and you're going, you got 300,000 viewers and you started at 800, I get why there would be concern from an advertising perspective of going, you lost all this audience. Raw definitely takes a hit. Monday Night Football, no question. Clark, you're 100% right. The ratings are significantly lower than they were during the Monday Night War era. But again, different world. There weren't even 100 cable channels at the time. They're streaming, they're social media. People have no attention spans anymore. There's a lot of things that go into things now, not just TV ratings, but even social media wise. If you notice, AEW go, oh, this is trending on X. Never says it's trending number one.
Yeah, no, that is a great point, and you made a few great points. And before I quickly chuck it over to Clark for his, rebuttal on it, Brett saying in the comments that CM Punk ruined Collision, but now with Adam Copeland, so let's see what how that happens going forward. That's a great point. I think Punk maybe did leave because obviously he was the identity of the show. Maybe that left a sour taste in some people's mouths. And Rose is saying, true, but that's their fault for starting a new wrestling show during college football season. I mean, if you play stupid games, win stupid prizes, you chose the night, and that's the position that they're in now. And if nobody's watching it, then you're in the Rampage situation again. But Clark, what's your rebuttal here?
So the Major League Baseball season, their playoffs are in October, and they also are broadcast on the sister network TBS, the one that Dynamite's broadcast on. So Collision is logically in a tough spot for those few weeks. Why did they start it before college football season? I don't know. Why is Saturday Night Live on in primetime Saturday nights? It's a pretty dang good time slot. There's a heck of a lot of people that watch TV. Is it targeted towards the 18 to 36 audience the way that the Dynamite product is? Probably, likely, yes. And that's a hard one to nail on Saturday night. I understand the time slot complaint for sure. But what other day do you go to, realistically speaking, outside of Thursday? Which, okay, thanks. Thursday night, you have Impact, and not only that, you have Thursday Night Football to compete with. You have college football primetime on Saturdays during the fall. You have Thursday Night Football as well. Outside of that, it's go to Tuesday and compete, and then you're doing Tuesday, Wednesday, and you're throwing off travel. They're on a giant network, a different network than the WWE, what we're all comfortable with. So it is a little bit different. We'll see some ratings dips, especially for a brand new show. But one that's signed a contract on a weekly basis, to call the entire product bad because they had a down week given tough counter programming, or to act as if the product itself is struggling, it's not worth it's if it's just the time slot, I disagree also. Either way, it doesn't make any sense to me.
I think the argument is that a lot of the segments announced don't feel as important as the Dynamite segments. Like, I don't think a lot of I think AEW put their main stuff on Dynamite still, and I think that's making people feel like it's a second Rampage at times.
And I think you just took the goalposts and moved them after I made a bunch of good points, but that's totally fine.
I said that in my open. I said that in my open.
One time, but that's no worries.
I said that in the open.
No, that's no worries. Here's what I would say is, I feel like Collision is of equal importance to Dynamite. It's on the bigger network. TNT on Saturday night is a bigger deal than TBS on Wednesday night, almost without question. TNT is the flagship network of Turner. TBS is not.
TBS does actually get more views, though. I do want to correct that. It does get more views.
And if we were chasing views, that'd be great. The flagship network is still the flagship network. TNT is the original flagship network.
That's true. That's the opposite.
That's the one. Yeah. That's the one. And that was the point that I made. But it's okay. We can, I would have loved to have been able to finish. But my point is, TNT Saturday nights are all right for fighting. I mean, Vince McMahon made a bunch of money on Saturday night's main events. Saturday Night Wrestling is great to have back. And not only that, I don't think every week is sustainable. Popping a giant number is going to be the case. If the product's consistent and we build towards big Saturday nights, it will pop big numbers down the road, especially in weeks where we don't have 7 ranked teams playing on a Saturday afternoon in that same exact time slot. Cross programming, WWE has a pay-per-view and the Major League Baseball playoffs on your sister network. You can't be in a more pinched spot than this week. It's one of 52 weeks. And that's something
this week's number is that's this week's number that as a one-off we'll ignore whatever the number is today, right? But that does bring us, we're gonna have to finish this debate another time because I'm gonna have to end the show here. But that does bring us to the end of the show, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you're on YouTube, please like and subscribe. If you're on Spotify, please leave us a cheeky 5 stars. And we'll be back tomorrow at the same time for the Fastlane review. Enjoy Fastlane. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you, Clark. Thank you, Dryzzy. And thank you, Anthony. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.